is 3:32. We're now joined by David Korda. David is the plant manager of Nokian Tyres, and he's going to be the keynote speaker for the Smart Factory Institute as they host their annual Expo and Chattanooga Manufacturers Luncheon. It's happening on August the 10th at the Bradley County Schools Pie Center. That's Partnerships and Education and Education Innovation Center in the Conclave. David, good afternoon, buddy. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. And before we talk about the luncheon, I want to talk about you, and I definitely want to talk about Nokian Tyres because you guys have come in there and absolutely taken Ray County by storm, this entire area, as you're looking at potentially, from what I read here, producing up to 4 million tires annually. Tell me about it.
Yeah, we're on our way there. We're currently in the middle of ramping up from our initial 2 million, which is our kind of first toe in the water. Then upper management likes what they see. Hey, guys, let's double it up, which was always the plan. It came a little faster than what was originally planned due to some extenuating circumstances, but we're happy to see that we're ready for the challenge. But most of all, I'm real humbled just to sit here and talk with you and tell a little bit about our story and do the same on August the 10th and to speak in front of so many people who are very much at the top of their game in this industry is rewarding and humbling, and I'll try not to be boring and not waste their time, but just want to tell our story, and hopefully it helps some others go about their way of doing things.
We are joined by David Korda, plant manager of Nokian Tyres in Dayton, and well, let's talk about Nokian and really what makes it special and what makes it a great story.
Well, like you said, taken by storm, this is special. In a small community, 32,000 people or so in the county, 7,000 people or so here in the Dayton area. So a small, tight-knit community. We have a lot of employees that work here and some of our other competitors in that regard. Everyone knows everyone else. But in the past roughly 4 years, we've gone from nothing to what we are now, where we're doubling again our output, not quite doubling our manpower. It takes to do that as you go with economies of scale. But being a part of that ride, I personally happened to be with that ride from the very beginning, as I was in the construction team during the early stages, as it went from farmland to mud pit to ultimate factory, and then managing that factory is quite a interesting story there of how that came to be. But I'll get into that during the presentation and the talk. And yeah, I'm looking forward to talking through that and all the lessons we learned from that, and hopefully it helps others.
We're joined by David Korda. David is the plant manager of Nokian Tyres in Dayton, and of course he's going to be as we said, the keynote speaker of the Smart Factory Institute's annual Expo and Chattanooga Manufacturers Luncheon. It's coming up on August the 10th. And you can get in touch with the Smart Factory Institute and get your tickets to the event. And if you want to be there. Now, it's interesting, David, I was reading some notes they sent us. The Chattanooga Regional Manufacturers Association has been around, was founded in 1902, was one of the first manufacturing associations in the nation. Isn't that impressive?
That is, and to speak for them is it's like I said, it's humbling. And several years ago, I believe it's 2 years ago now. Some things are running together, but they actually recognized us as Manufacturer of the Year, which is the first ever time that happened in Ray County. For a sustainable company, we've also been recognized for that. There's a lot of things we're trying to bring this kind of Nokian philosophy, Nokian Tyres philosophy, into the way we do business, which is Nokian Tyres comes from Finland. It's a Finnish-based company, and they invented the winter tire. And they also invented it around that 1902 timestamp. It was in the 30s, I believe, 20s or 30s, but roughly 100 years ago. And they've really made a name for themselves as the top innovator in that. Obviously, they were the innovator, and they continue to drive innovation within that sector. And this is them reaching out into the North American market with this factory. We're the lone factory here in North America, so there's a lot expected of us. And to be a part of this community and work with all these great people that really help set us up for this and keep us on track, and basics of providing power, labor, and everything to us. It's really helped us to get our footing, and now we make some headway.
David, what you mentioned that this is the only plant that Nokian Tire has in North America. What appealed to Nokian about Dayton, about this area?
That's a great question. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on there, and the ECDs of various places are always kind of competing for these major players coming from Europe and elsewhere. But to boil it down, it really comes down to the people. You want to understand what kind of workforce is there, what kind of training they have, what kind of environment, how the people live, and can you be an integral part of that and grow together? Obviously, Nokian Tyres was looking for a smaller location, not such a metropolis that had so many competitors to vie with. So they really saw the Dayton, say, city center and the broader Ray County area, which we get roughly 80% of our workforce from, as exactly the right mix of what we needed. And I can say it was absolutely the right choice. And it's, except for all the rain that we got in 2018 and 2019, which was the highest ever recorded 2 years consecutively in the Tennessee River Basin area. That was a challenge, but like all challenges, you got to get through it and make it the best you can. So, but the answer to your question, quite frankly, if we had to pick one thing, it would be the people.
We're joined by David Korda. David, last question. Of course, David, the plant manager, Nokian Tyres. You mentioned the workforce. I believe that Nokian is hiring. Am I right in saying that or believing that?
Yes, Nokian is hiring, and we're near the end of this cycle. We're not quite full with it just yet. I can't say the number, or one of my good marketing compadres might slap me, as this major announcement relative to this goes out tomorrow. But we are in the mix, and we're always hiring, looking for people in a company this size. As we're approaching 475 folks, we're always looking for good people and good leaders. So word of mouth spreads well, but I appreciate your help in spreading that. And all the details can be found on NokianTyres.com.
All right, David Korda, he will be the keynote speaker August 10 for the Smart Factory Institute Annual Expo and Chattanooga Manufacturers Lunch. It'll be at the Bradley County Schools Pie Center August the 10th, and you can go to Peak Performance INC, peakperformanceinc.com, and /Smart Factory-Institute. David, thank you very much for joining us. We love what you're doing up there, and I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, Steve, thanks so much for having me, and it's a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you very much. David Korda, the plant manager of Nokian Tires in Dayton. Again, you can find out more about Nokian. Also, if you want to apply for a job up there, just go to NokianTires.com. All right, more to come. Stand by. It's the Mix Afternoon Drive, driven by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. And we'll come right back with more in just a moment.